It is the 11th of the 10th 2024. The time is 10:05 and there is a Toyota shaped thread at which we need to pull this morning. They say that they're back via a technical partnership with Haas F1 over humanity, and some said previously that Gene Haas had one foot out the door. Well, with this announcement, this agreement, they can take two seats because no longer. BBC's Andrew Benson reports that the Japanese car company Toyota is returning to Formula One after a 15-year hiatus in partnership with a US-based team, even Haas F1. And look, to set the table here and leverage some context, Joe Sawyer, the legend, has been saying this for a while now in his newsletter. He said during the summer there were rumours of an alliance between Haas F1 and Toyota. Why? Because all of their senior bods, their head honchos, were indeed sniffing around Formula One, seen at F1 tracks. Originally, the rumour broke per an Hungarian journalist, if indeed I can get my words out. The story is believed to have come from, as a source, Toyota Gazoo Racing in Cologne. Toyota responded at the time by saying that there was nothing to say on this matter beyond the fact that Toyota will continue to make sports cars better and better and develop people through motorsport. Joe says that this is an interesting remark since it underlined why Toyota's involved in motorsport in the first instance, their raison d'etre. The implication was not that F1 provided exposure, but rather it helped develop technology and people. And then the news breaks today via Toyota Gazoo's statement saying that MoneyGram Haas F1 enters technical partnership with Toyota Gazoo Racing over humanity. Under the multi-year agreement, both parties will share expertise and knowledge as well as resources, with Toyota Gazoo Racing providing designing, technical and manufacturing services, while MoneyGram Haas F1 team will offer technical expertise and commercial benefits in return. This sounds like a symbiosis of a technical partnership. No, this isn't just grab a gazillion pounds F1. Toyota and Haas F1 indeed have launched into a technical partnership with a view to achieve some form of technical expertise symbiosis. And this makes sense. Why? Because Toyota were once upon a time, between 2002 and 2009, a member of the F1 grid. Didn't work though. Why? Because they threw a gazillion pounds at it and didn't have the expertise based in Cologne. And again, everybody knows by dint of success in Formula One, you need to be in the right place at the right time. Middle England settings with a view to leverage for the not insubstantial expertise and intellectual property that they have there. Everybody knows this. So why were they based in Cologne? Non-rhetorical question, but I digress. We don't have time to diatribe for the not insubstantial foibles and travails of Toyota's F1 stint the first time round. Andrew Benson writes, there will be Toyota branding on the Haas F1 cars starting at the US Grand Prix in Austin, Texas from the 18th to the 20th of October. Haas will continue to use Ferrari power units, having earlier this year extended their contract with the Italian team until 2028. Toyota, continues Benson of BBC, has in recent years found itself missing out on aspiring Japanese racing drivers and engineers to rival Honda because of Honda's presence in F1. A source with knowledge of the deal has told BBC Sports, says Andrew Benson. Toyota believes having its presence in F1 will help it counteract this. Here's looking at you, Yuki Tsunoda. Haas F1 team principal Ayo Komatsu had this to say: to have a world leader in the automotive sector support and work alongside our organisation while seeking to develop and accelerate their own technical and engineering expertise. It's simply a partnership with obvious benefits on both sides. Symbiosis settings with the ability to tap into the resources and knowledge base available at Toyota Gazoo Racing, benefiting from their technical and manufacturing processes, will be instrumental in our own development, says team principal Ayo Komatsu, and our clear desire to further increase our competitiveness in Formula One. Gonzo was Gunther Steiner, and this now starts to make sense from a broad blue sky thinking perspective, having a Japanese team principal in situ heading up Haas F1. And again, with this partnership, this symbiosis even between Haas F1 and Toyota just around the corner. It makes sense, ladies and gentlemen. In return, we offer a platform to Toyota Gazoo Racing, continues Komatsu, to fully utilise and subsequently advance their in-house engineering capabilities. Oh, the humanity. This is techie though. Super techie, and it will only get techier over the next 5 minutes or less. Benson bookends his article by saying it withdrew from F1 after 8 years of running its own team between 2002 and 2009. In a decade marked by extensive involvement in F1 by car manufacturers, Toyota developed a reputation, and here's where it gets techie, as one of the bigger as the brand with the biggest disconnect between budget and success. They were hundreds of millions deep as at 2009, but they struggled to attain any semblance of success over that tenure. The team, which believed to be the best, was believed to be the best funded in F1 at the time, failed to win even a race between 2002 and 2009, and that has got to mean something. Why? Because it shows you as proof positive, a case in point even, that success, to get success in Formula One, you need money. But it's not just a function of money. It's all about intellectual property. It's all about heritage, legacy, expertise even, your ability to sign and keep good people, your ability to base yourself out of Middle England, as an example, and not Cologne, which is what Toyota chose to do between 2002 and 2009. Oh, and by the way, those that said Haas had one, Gene Haas had one foot out the door, surely can see that now this dude is in for the long term, notwithstanding many F1 aficionados saying that he's been a bit stingy, that he lacks the financial metal requisite to inject into his team what they demand as then prerequisite financial resources in order to become race winners and therefore champions. Gene Haas has no intention, says Joe Sawyer, of selling his racing team, but in the foreseeable future, this does not matter. Why? And here's where it gets techie. May we get techie for the next 5 minutes or less? Because this is what Joe Sawyer says, or said even before these news came out. Again, go and subscribe to that chap's newsletter because it's got very decent knowledge in there. Here's what he said. A Toyota Haas partnerships makes perfect sense in that the US licensed team in Haas F1 needs many of the things that Toyota already has available. The team was put together 10 years ago using a clever approach to create, Haas he's talking about now, to create an F1 team that was up and running quickly. The Lara template settings. The team uses Ferrari engines and the Ferrari wind tunnel, and many of the staff in its design bureau in Italy, located on the Ferrari campus, are Ferrari people seconded to the project. The Lara does much of the team's manufacturing. Today, such arrangements, however, as far as F1 is concerned, are disadvantages, as the team needs to invest in its own infrastructure if it wants to have the same kind of value as F1 teams. Please see Aston Martin as your first example. Exhibit A settings. Why? Because Lawrence Stroll has invested £250 million in that new factory, and so too another 50 million circa as far as that new wind tunnel. You need your own capital wind infrastructure. Sharing wind tunnels and factories doesn't work anymore if indeed you harbour aspirations of winning yourselves races and therefore championships. Joe continues, an American link can only be good for Toyota because its biggest market is North America, where the company sold 2.6 million of its 10.3 million vehicles last year. It all starts to make sense from a strategic perspective. Blue sky thinking settings, ladies and gents. This company, or this compares even to 1.9 billion in China, 1.6 million cars sold in Japan, and 1.1 sold in Europe. Formula One with Toyota Gazoo Racing's head of motorsports, Masaya Kaji, had been seen at various race events as far as the Formula One calendar is concerned as recently as this year. F1 ever since has enjoyed huge success. World Endurance and World Rally Championships, however, is where Toyota chose to place their focus. F1, though, is different as far as marketing power. Surely then it makes sense for Gazoo Racing to want to get back involved in Formula One, particularly on the back of the 2021, particularly on the back of Drive to Survive Asian, particularly on the back of the many eyes, the many new eyes and new demographics, new growth markets on the back of COVID settings. Neither the series, as far as the World Rally Championships, nor the World Endurance, and Toyota's not insubstantial success in those, will gain the same return on investments as Formula One would. As one has to advertise, says Joe Sayer, any success because the general public just aren't watching those. Limited interest in WEC and WRC. Nobody cares, especially if you compare and contrast to the number of eyes that are on Formula One as the upper echelon motorsport series in the world. In many respects, Toyota has also been too successful, says Joe Sayer, in both championships because success is now expected and not winning becomes the story. In recent months, Hyundai have also been sniffing around Formula One because they are also acutely aware of the not insubstantial upside as far as marketing, having got if indeed they can get involved with Formula One. In Toyota Gazoo Racing Europe, GmbH, says Joe, facility in Cologne was built for Formula One projects 20 years ago. In this respect, it's obviously out of date, but the facility, it has a couple of advantages. It has a wind tunnel ready to go. It's been kept at a decent level of repair too because there are rental deals involved in that. It has many of the elements already needed to build F1 cars. It also has a UK offshoot in Epsom, Toyota Gazoo Racing we're talking about here, where in the last couple of years there's been a state-of-the-art racing simulator. This is going down in real time. Toyota are back and will not want to repeat the mistakes of Christmas past, investing far too much money in F1 without any fruits. They're looking now to nail the symbiosis that is technical expertise and partnerships, design and nurturing driving talent between Toyota Gazoo Racing and Haas F1 going forward. This, ladies and gentlemen, could get a bit techie, particularly if indeed they can learn from the mistakes of Christmas past. Invest wise, work smart and not hard. Toyota Gazoo Racing. The world waits and watches to see what happens with them going forward, whether they look to sign Yuki Tsunoda to potentially replace their most recent signing, Esteban Ocon, in outer years. Gonna get techie, eh? How, ladies and gentlemen, do you like your F1?